Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and remember, context is everything. Media Network founder and CEO John Michael is watching a TV show. This is my favorite TV show ever. I've seen it 20 times in total. This is the 21st time, so I'm starting from the very beginning of Twin Peaks. I think it's a great show. I think that there's a lot to learn from it in the moral of the story and in the art of which it was told. It's an avant-garde piece in many ways. On network television it was. There's 3 seasons to it. We're starting from episode 1, or not even episode 1, the international pilot, which is like an extended version of the original pilot. This is a 2-hour episode. I'm only going to be reviewing the first half of it. Never mind. It's not a review. What I'm doing is I'm going moment by moment. I'm pausing as I watch again and saying, oh, this is one thing in the 20 times that I've watched the show that it really sticks out to me. And I'm just pointing out little details. If any themes arise, I know that they will, and if some that I don't know yet, I'm going to talk about those, but I'm not going to spoil in the future. Each episode should be a standalone. If you've only seen episode 1, you can watch this with me and not get anything spoiled. I will set the stage for themes that are to come. So if something about a character is unfolding, I'll say, this is the beginning of a ongoing theme. I think that makes the viewing experience more interesting because you say, wow, the subtlety of the writing really does show through. But either way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started so you can see how the structure works of this show. I'm still learning it myself. This is Context is Everything, Twin Peaks. Or Twin Peaks, Context is Everything. My name is John Michael. Please subscribe and please watch this show, actually Twin Peaks, and then watch my thing as a little bit of a supplement to it because I've watched the show a lot. I know it pretty well, and I think it's worth digging deeper into. Here's the first place I wanted to stop. You're just learning about one of the main characters, Harry Truman. So Harry Truman, the sheriff, at 5 minutes and 25 seconds in the international pilot says on the phone when he's called by Pete Martell, the guy, the fisherman, he asks, where did this issue occur of finding a body? He asks where. That is the only question he asks because it is the most important question to ask. And it's the most direct to the answer. So, Sheriff Truman, very direct. That's your first example, and it's a great show. So, you'll see more of him being direct as we go on. At this moment in time, we're at 14 minutes and 59 seconds in the international pilot. This is when the news is delivered to the parents of the deceased, of her demise. Now, what I pause and tell you about here is the tracking of the camera down the phone wire as the phone falls is just a cinematography piece that upon my first viewing of this show, I thought, oh, that looks really nice, and it's kind of simple. That's really it. But I think camera tracking is a theme to look out for, and I'm telling myself that because I still don't understand some of the things that happen in this show. Here at timestamp 21 minutes and 37 seconds, we see Bobby Briggs entering school, and why I stop it is because I was a teacher for 4 years. Bobby Briggs, being a smart individual, but also a rebellious individual, says a really smart answer to the question of you're wanted in the office, in the sense of it's a smart answer of, it's something that a kid who's smart and rebellious would say in school. I was a teacher. I can understand this sort of dynamic. So I just think that it's interesting character building of a character. Here, the next portion. This phone call occurs while Sheriff Truman is questioning Laura Palmer's mother. Now, what I want to call out to note is that Sheriff Truman is reminded to ask about did Laura receive any phone calls last night? He's reminded by a phone call that happens in the space. You can see this as you watch. A little detail about, the process of a small town sheriff. And maybe he's on the ball, but how on the ball is he? He's reminded to ask a very important question that carries the investigation forward by some diegetic sound of a phone call. Or is it non-diegetic? I forget. Here, this is a wonderful interaction at 35 minutes and 15 seconds. It's a 15-word exchange between these two gentlemen, Big Ed Hurley and James Hurley. 15 words are exchanged in a scene here. I think that's excellent. It's just dudes being dudes, guys being guys, getting right to the point. And gotta get you a coffee. Can't do it. Enter one of the greatest characters in television history, Special Agent Dale Cooper. So at about 36 minutes and 30 seconds, we meet Dale Cooper, the FBI agent, and in this short scene, we see that he's very detail-oriented, making a voice memo note to his secretary. And you also see a bit of his mania. The guy's very excited about things that are pretty mundane, meaning trees, which is great. I think trees are cool. And cherry pie. And that's what you see here, his mania about cherry pie and trees. You'll see more of that as we move forward. A great scene, great introduction of a great character. Now, this is a supplemental to the introduction of Dale Cooper at about 37 minutes. So you're about 37 minutes in. You're seeing Dale Cooper just have a standard conversation introduction with Sheriff Truman. He stops him right there in the hallway. And he tells him, when the Bureau's involved, meaning his agency, we're in charge. So he sets the ground rules. I think it's a really nice rhetorical thing to learn for anybody in an authority position to really be clear. Not rude. He's not rude. He's just clear. But right after being stern, you see him get really excited about the trees again. And I think that it's interesting to see him being really stern and then like a child, really excited. Character. Now here, timestamp 43 minutes and 25 seconds. Jim, the coroner, I suppose is what his title would be, misunderstands something that Agent Dale Cooper says of, would you leave us alone, please? He misunderstands that as, what's your name? And so he responds by saying, Jim. And then Dale Cooper repeats himself and says, could you leave us alone, please? And then he does. I think that that's a little subtle piece of humor that doesn't make you laugh because they're looking at a corpse as this happens, but it just keeps you in the mentality of this show's keeping you guessing. It's not like a Law and Order SVU where you're stern and you're kind of on edge the whole time. You are stern and kind of on edge the whole time, but there's little moments that make you think. Subtle little laugh, like a laugh that comes out of your nose. Also in this scene, Dale Cooper tells you he wants to have a certain investigator, forensics investigator, involved in this reporting of this incident. He asks specifically for somebody not to be brought in, who you'll meet much later on in a prequel that occurs after season 2 is released, and I'll watch at that point. So that's just a little extra detail, a little something, a little Easter egg, and shows, good writing, nice enough detail that it can be called back to years later in production. A little phrase like that. At 46 minutes and 47 seconds, the Special Agent Cooper and the Sheriff Harry Truman are sitting in the police station, and you get a little bit of detail on how the Special Agent Dale Cooper doesn't quite trust the forensics analysis of the confident Sheriff Truman. He says, "Did your guys get the forensics in?" And Sheriff Truman says something to the effect of, "Yep, we got it all set." But, he's calling in his own guys, so he doesn't trust him that much. Big city versus small town, FBI versus small town investigation. And the last timestamp for this episode of Twin Peaks Context is Everything, or Context is Everything Twin Peaks, I'm not sure yet, is this body language thing. So in the interrogation here at 52 minutes and 30 seconds, Dale Cooper and Sheriff Truman are talking to Bobby Briggs. And in this little scene here, you just see, a thing of future reference, a theme building. Dale Cooper reads body language fairly effectively. And so he says something here that is him doing that for the first time in the show. Now, again, the purpose of this program of Context is Everything Twin Peaks is as a supplement to the program. So watch the show first of Twin Peaks, stream it, get the Blu-ray, whatever. Watch it on VHS. Maybe that's nice. I don't know. Watch the episode first, then watch the Twin Peaks Context is Everything here, and you'll get little extra details from somebody who's watched the show 20 times, going on 21. This is my 21st time watching the show. So I have little things that I've noticed about it that are unspoken oftentimes in the show, but they are themes that resonate. That's what I intend to catalog in this program, in this series, because I think I'll be interested in watching it in 10 years. So thank you. God bless, and have a lovely day. Context is Everything Media Network. John Michael, signing off. Please subscribe.